It's a long way on the path to Naples, especially those from the West. And here in our Garden State studios, we're going to take a look at the 6th and 7th grade West Regional today. Neil Sika, National Scouting Director of Youth1.com, Alan Popadines. But, Pops, when I think of the West over recent years of this tournament, I think the Pacific Northwest has dominated Seattle, Oregon. There's a lot of players in California. You're wondering when they're going to start to emerge. Could this be the year?
This very well could be the year with the emergence of a couple new teams. LA Valley, LA Central, Team SoCal. San Diego has been in the tournament, but they're back in the mix. Who knows?
Let's take a look at the matchups. First, starting in 6th grade. They played in Placer Valley, California. We see Reno against San Diego. Bay Area Metro plays Columbia Basin. Oregon will meet Central Valley. And the winner of that will take on Sacramento, who has a bye. Down in Sacramento proper, Inland Empire plays Utah. LA Central meets Northern Washington, and Seattle has a bye. Over in 7th grade, back up to Placer Valley, California we go. Just outside of the downtown area, Sacramento will play Bay Area Metro. Oregon plays Central Valley. San Diego has a bye. Down in the city, LA Central meets SoCal. Seattle clashes with LA Valley. And Utah has a bye. So a lot to look forward to from these Pacific Northwest clash against some new teams that have formed in the Southern California area.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the traditional Northwest powers play against that football state, California.
All right, much more to come, including Youth 1's Pop's Top 4 for the 6th and 7th grade. It's what everyone looks forward to. That's coming up right after these messages.
You can ask any coach, player, or fan. Before the beaches, the golf courses, the sunsets, Florida is known for football. But in Naples, Marco Island, you get them all. With the facilities and accommodations perfect for your off-season training, tournament, or event. Florida's Paradise Coast is Florida's sports paradise.
The best youth football players in the country are at Youth1.com. Youth1.com has the Elite 101 report of the nation's top 101 players, the Freshman 450, rankings, recaps, and news for football and all youth sports. And now anyone can create an athlete profile and share their stats, videos, and skills with the world. Whether you want to be the best or see the best, go to Youth1.com, celebrating the best of youth sports.
The Path to Naples is brought to you by the Naples, Marco Island, and Everglades Convention and Visitors Bureau. Also by Battle Sports Science and Youth 1.
Neil and Pops having some fun on the path to Naples. We're talking about the 6th and 7th graders in the West Regional here today. Youth1.com's Pops Top 4. That's what we're unveiling now at the 6th grade level. Ready to bring on the complaints?
Yeah, let's get it started.
All right, we're going to start with the 4 seed. That's Sacramento. As 6th graders last year, they made the regional semifinal. They're looking good again with 2 pretty good linebackers leading the core.
Yeah, this is one of these programs that's really up and coming. For Sacramento, look at Christian Ingman, 5'5", 125 pounds, one of only 2 returning players from Sacramento's 6th grade team last year, meaning he made it as a 5th grader. He's able to read quickly. He's a very instinctual linebacker, calls defensive fronts and coverages out to his teammates. The coaches really look at him as an extension of the coaching staff, which they really, really value. And then Nasari Danielson, 5'4", 125 pounds, participating in his first ever FBU National Championship tournament for Team Sacramento. But he's a two-sport athlete, football and basketball, so you know he can move around a little bit. Look for him to patrol the middle.
4 seed Sacramento. The 3 seed from the Fresno area, middle of the state, Central Valley comes in here in 6th grade trying to make some noise. CJ Flores, Aiden Fortenberry, 2 names to know.
Yeah, when you look at Flores, you know how you just can look at kids and can see, man, that boy's an athlete. That's what CJ Flores is. 5'9", 150 pounds, very, very strong hands, plays 3 different sports, just a great looking athlete. And then Fortenberry, a running back linebacker, 5'4". He's been invited to Top Gun twice. And Central Valley is really expecting him to hold down the defense. Great student athlete, very physical. Can also play running back if you need him to.
Central Valley, the 3 seed. That leads us to number 2, Bay Area Metro. It's important sometimes that you have a 5th grader who maybe played and got the experience last year and now is on that 6th grade team proper. That's Terrence Allen, the running back.
Yeah, and last year this kid was a standout as only a 5th grader. He's a dynamic athlete, really, really great vision when carrying the ball, runs downhill, can cut on a dime. That change of direction speed, that's what all coaches talk about. It's a buzzword. This kid has it. And then his quarterback, Lachlan Hewlett. This is a name that everybody needs to start to recognize. The kid can drop dimes 50 yards down the field. His dad is a quarterback coach. This kid is well-trained, very, very bright future. I'd go as far as to say possible FBU All-American down the line.
All right. Well, the class of the 6th graders over the last few seasons, that's been Seattle, and they made a great run last year. They're back as your 1 seed this year, and they've got a little guy, but he's got a lot of game in Leo Pulasi.
Yeah, and this kid started last year as a 5th grader on that team, Seattle 6th grade. All I can say about this kid is speed, speed, and more speed. 5'3", 125 pounds, but plays much bigger, much faster. Really good-looking kid. The other one I like, you ready for this, Neil?
Tapaloa Tusi, you want me to help you out there?
Thanks
Call him the Hulk.
Thanks for the assist, buddy. Yeah, that's what they call him. They nickname him the Hulk. You know, why is he nicknamed the Hulk? How about this, folks? 6th grade, 6'2", 320 pounds. Tell me who's going to move him in the middle of the defensive line. I can't name many people.
Well, Seattle, another team that is poised to get back to Naples, especially at the 6th grade level. They proved you wrong last season.
They let me know.
Now you've got them as your 1 seed. The sleeper, their neighbors down to the south, that's Oregon, and they've had a good run of form in the past in this tournament. They're 6th graders. Your sleeper picks Solomon McDaniel, Connor Noah, guys that could star on that team.
And absolutely, Oregon is one of those teams who traditionally have turned out great athletes, and I think that's why I'm going with them for my sleeper pick. I don't know much about many of these athletes, I'll admit it, but they come from a solid program. McDaniel, 5'7" and 192 pounds. Big kid, will patrol the interior offensive and defensive line. And Connor Noah, 5'5", 130 pounds, 3-sport athlete, running back, linebacker, one of those kids that lives to play on Saturdays or Fridays in this case.
On to the 7th grade now we go. The Youth 1 Pops Top 4, unveiling those top 4 seeds, plus a sleeper pick out in the West Regional. We're going to start with Bay Area Metro. That's your 4th seed for the 7th graders. 6th graders last year in the 2nd round, they went out to Sacramento, but it helps when you got a guy coming back as an FBU All-American 2 years ago. That's Raleek Brown. Yeah,
Raleek Brown made the 7th grade FBU All-American game as a 5th grader 2 years ago. He's been at Top Gun the last 2 years. First team All-FBU NC, first team All-Top Gun. The kid's special. You know, if he can get up to that 5'10", 5'11" mark eventually, this is a D1 talent.
Shane Nelson. We don't give a lot of love to the special teams guys, but here's one that deserves some.
Yeah, and the coaches couldn't sing his praises enough. They said if they get in anywhere within 35 yards, they are confident that they will put 3 points on the board. And that's a lot at any level. You've seen what happens in the NFL recently.
If you've got a kicking game at the 6th or 7th grade level, you can shine, and that can go a long way. The 3 seed, the 7th graders in the West Regional, that's LA Central. We've seen different variations of LA teams and make some runs, but maybe not live up to the potential. But you think Malachi Nelson could be a guy that puts this team in the right direction.
Right, this LA Central team is formed from the old Orange County team, so you're going to see a lot of those standout kids. And for the Los Angeles Central, Malachi Nelson, 5'6", 115 pounds, the definition of a dual threat. Could really line him up at running back if they needed to, but he has an arm as well. He's going to make that offense go and is dangerous with both arm and leg.
Isaiah Galvin, his running back, is an FBU alum.
Yeah, he's been through the FBU camps. We're talking about a kid who was well-trained, great technique, 5'5", 145 pounds, low center of gravity, can move around. Not just a football player, also a 3.9 GPA, getting it done in the classroom too.
You mentioned the descendants of Orange County, that team back in 2012, one of the few California schools to make a run, or few California programs to make a run, 7th grade national semi-finalists. Number 2, Sacramento at the 7th grade West Regional. Champ Ula Fale. It's a big defensive lineman. It's a fun name to say, too. He's a good player.
Yeah, that might be the only thing that's fun, because this kid is big and mean and tough. We're talking 6'1", 220, interior defensive line, but fast enough to line up as a linebacker. This kid is just a bully on the interior D-line, someone that's going to make Sacramento a very, very dangerous team.
David Clark on the offensive side of the ball, the quarterback and signal caller.
Yeah, returns from last year. Last year had a great tournament for Sacramento. And this is another kid that if he continues to grow and continues to do the right things on and off the field, D1 possibility for this kid. Dual threat, but his technique, his arm are fantastic. Definitely in the upper 10% of that class that I've seen across the nation.
All right, Sacramento, the 2 seed, back as the 1 seed, or at least trying to build off the success of last year. Losing in the Final Four to North Texas. Yep. That's Seattle. And those 6th graders, now 7th graders, they're your 1 seed. It's important to have leadership, and they've got it in Tristan Warner.
Tristan Warner, man, 5'10", 160 pounds. He returns from last year. He was the signal caller. They came up just a little bit short, but this team has retooled. Warner has grown. They're ready to make a lot of noise. Be ready for this potent offense led by Warner.
Should we just make it easy and say Baby Ray as opposed to Lene Devon Nafoa Maso, the linebacker who's 5'8", 160, leading that defense?
He's a mouthful. He's also a handful. This kid is going to be all over the field as a linebacker. Last year, a memorable tournament, first team all FBU NC last year. 5'8", 160 pounds of pure power and ferocious hitting from that middle linebacker spot. The kid is going to go sideline to sideline.
There's your 1 seed, and that's Seattle, 7th grade, West Regional, Sacramento the 2, LA Central 3, Bay Area Metro 4. Of course, there's always a sleeper or two, and a lot of kids catch your eye at FBU Top Gun, one being Noah Fafita, and he's on Team SoCal, who is new to the field. They want to be known as SoCal, and they may try and play like it.
So SoCal is a pretty cool name. Yeah. This is a cool, calm, collected player. You know, you look at his height and weight, 5'6", 117. He's not the 6-footer that we've seen, and he's not the 150-pound athlete we've seen, but the kid gets the job done. You know, he's been a Top Gun twice, makes great decisions with the ball, isn't going to force a lot of throws, isn't going to turn over a lot.
Jarius Satele, Pomona Steelers, that's a pretty good program he's coming from to play for this SoCal team.
Absolutely, and this is another kid that's been through the FBU camp. 6 foot, 220 pounds, fast, athletic, really good feet for a big man. Look for him to make a lot of plays on the D-line and block a lot of people on the O-line.
All right, some other players to keep an eye on that might make headlines for the 7th grade tournament. Let's start with 2 with Central Valley, Paul Sharp and Ashton Rodriguez.
Yeah, Paul Sharp, anybody who knows anything about football knows that wrestling goes hand in hand with a lot of the movement and everything like that. Paul Sharp is a national wrestling champion. 6'1", plays running back and defensive end. Very, very aggressive downhill player. Look for him to rush the passer a lot. And Ashton Rodriguez, you touched on as well, also from Central Valley. 5'3", 130 pounds, but runs like he's 6'2". Scored 27 touchdowns in 10 games, and 8 of those touchdowns came defensively this year.
All right, and San Diego has a quarterback a lot of times throughout these West Regionals through the years, regardless of the grade level. The Inland Empire Ducks supply some really good players, and Toby Schmidt is coming from that team.
Yeah, he played with them last year. A pass-happy kid, plays in a pass-happy offense. He does the 7-on-7s in the offseason. He is what we're seeing the game of youth football progress to, a lot of spread offense, just like they're mimicking high schools and colleges and the pros. And this kid can toss the rock all over the field. All
right, just a few days away from kickoff in the Sacramento area. Pop's parting shot. What are you looking at for these 6th and 7th graders out in the West? What are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to California. Some of these California teams finally standing up and beating their chest and saying, we are the guys to beat. I'm sure they're tired of hearing, how are you losing to Seattle and Washington? And in the past they have. So I'm looking for any of these Cali teams to stand up, pump their chest, and say what's up.
All right, puff out your chest there, Cali. As we continue on the path to Naples, of course, we're previewing all the regionals, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade levels, and you can catch all of that action on FBUNC.com, as well as the YouTube page, the FBU National Championship YouTube page. And keep in mind, on Monday, December 5th, we'll have live streaming games of the 3rd round as teams try to play their way into the quarterfinals, which have been moved, along with the national semifinals and finals, to Naples this year, down in Southwest Florida. Those championship games taking place on December 20th. So, on the path to Naples, we're glad you're a part of it. He's Alan Popadines, National Scouting Director of Youth1.com. I'm Neil Sika, and thank you for watching the 6th and 7th grade West Regional Preview.